2025 didn't just give us horror games, it gave us warnings. Some of these games whisper, some scream, and some shouldn't know you're playing them. Tonight, we're counting down the top 10 horror games of 2025. These games were games that crawled under my skin, sat there, and refused to leave. Let's begin. These are not in any particular order, I would just like to point out. These are just the ones that I went through and figured that they made my top 10. So the first one I have up is Indigo Park. We have bright colors, friendly mascots, a place that was meant to make children laugh. Indigo Park is what happens when that laughter echoes too long after everyone's gone. Rambly smiles, the rides still run, and the park is watching you through its ruins. Mascot horror done right, cheerful on the surface and rotten underneath. I have replayed this part of the game, it's chapter 1, the only part that's out, multiple times because I just love it so much. I love Rambly, he's probably evil, we don't know yet, but I cannot wait for chapter 2, and this is definitely had to make it in my top 10. It might actually be my number 1, we shall see. Next up we have Cabin Factory. Automation is supposed to make life easier. Cabin Factory asks a terrifying question. What if the system doesn't care whether you survive the process? You build, you obey, you stay productive, and somewhere between the blueprints and silence, you realize the factory isn't broken. It's functioning exactly as intended. This one was really spooky. I am not really much for an anomaly game player, not normally, but this one was definitely one of those ones that was pretty spooky. It didn't terrify me, but was pretty spooky. It did its job correctly. Up next on our list is Killer Frequency. I did not think this one was necessarily scary in any way, shape, or form, but I did have a lot of fun playing it, and I enjoyed it very, very much. Late night radio always has felt dangerous. Killer Frequency turns your microphone into a lifeline and a weapon. Every call could be someone's last. Every wrong answer could echo into silence. This is horror that doesn't chase you down a hallway. It waits for you to speak. And Killer Frequency was just really cool. I liked the story. I thought it was really good. Me having to try and help people not die was quite an experience, for sure. Next at number 7, we have The Demons Told Me to Make This Game. This title isn't a joke, it's a confession. This game knows it exists. It knows you exist. Menus lie, rules shift, and the demons don't hide behind metaphors. They tell you exactly why the game was made. This isn't just meta horror, it's a game that dares you to finish it. So I haven't actually played this whole game. I played the demo, which I got off a Keymailer for free, and it is so cool. It's such a cool concept. Here down at number 6 is probably one of the ones I got a lot of very, very good clips from. It really scared me, gave me goosebumps multiple times, and that is Luto. Grief doesn't end, it loops. Luto traps you in a space that refuses to let go. Corridors that feel familiar, rooms that shouldn't exist. There are no monsters chasing you, just the slow, suffocating realization that you might never leave this place because part of you doesn't want to. This one definitely had creepy moments. We had a lot of good moments where I literally had to sit for a minute and just look at my chat and go, guys, did you see that? Did that happen? Oh my god. Like it was a good minute or so where I was like, wow. Very, very good game. I would say that one's probably actually my number 2. But again, these are not listed in any particular order, just my top 10 games of the year. So with that being said, coming in at number 5 is The Demon Within Me. Not all demons come from the outside. The demon within me blurs identity, memory, and guilt until you're no longer sure who you're controlling or who's controlling you. The horror isn't loud, it's intimate. And when the screen fades to black, it feels uncomfortably personal. This one definitely was one of those indie horror games where I was like, this is not that scary. It's gonna be fine. No worries. We got this. Yeah, no, I didn't think it was gonna be that bad. Until I walked into a room and a demon hand turned off the light right in front of me. And because I was just so not expecting that, it was so scary to me, where I literally had to pause. And I think for a good 5 minutes, I just sat there and went, nope. Like, I was not okay. Coming in at number 4 is Little Nightmares 3. The nowhere always finds new children. Little Nightmares 3 takes everything you've loved and feared and makes you fear it with someone else. You're not alone this time, but that doesn't mean you're safe. Sometimes watching someone else suffer beside you is worse. This game was so good, and I don't understand where Little Nightmares fans are coming from when they say it wasn't good. I replayed 1 and 2 before I ended up playing 3. I did play 3 co-op with a friend. We both really enjoyed it as far as I remember, or at least the ending we got was so sad. But also just the whole thing was just really interesting and seemed really dark, I guess. I feel like this one was a little bit darker than the other two, maybe. But very, very interesting concept. Very much like that game. Very, very much. Number 3 is Palmyra Orphanage, another indie horror game that was absolutely terrifying. An orphanage should be a place of care. Palmyra Orphanage is what happens when those memories curdle. Empty beds, scratched walls, stories that were never meant to be told. This is a classic haunted location horror. Slow, oppressive, and deeply cruel in its silence. It definitely had a lot of good scare moments. I'm pretty sure this was the game that I played. That's also a clip in my previous long form video that I did of my scariest moments on stream, where I called that something was going to crawl at me as I was like crawling through some desks or something, and it came at me and I still got scared. That was this game. This game was absolutely terrifying. One of my very good friends had played it and had told me about it after she played it, and I think the developers of this game were also developers of as a few other ones that really spooked me. So they did very, very good. Such a good game. Definitely a good indie horror game. If you like indie horror, you should definitely go check that out. Coming up on number 2 of our little list here, we have Terrorbytes. Fast, loud, unforgiving. Terrorbytes weaponizes nostalgia and turns it against you. Retro visuals, modern cruelty, no time to breathe. This game doesn't let the tension build. It slams it straight in your chest and demands you keep up. This game was so fun. I wasn't necessarily too scared. There was a lot of screaming, yelling, and laughing. I played it with 2 of my friends and we had so much fun. Sorry, I should say I played it with my online siblings and we had so much fun. This was another game I got off Keymailer. It was amazing. The dev was amazing to talk to. And when my keys didn't work immediately, he immediately gave me some more. Was very responsive. I really liked this game. It's not necessarily scary, but it is classed as horror. And it's just so cool how they took a Pac-Man like retro game and made it something new and horror-y. It kind of reminded me of like Stranger Things, sort of. It was really good. So definitely check that one out. I think that would probably be my number 3 of the year. And last but not least, at number 1, again, not necessarily my number 1 of the year, but my number 1 is Claire. Some horror games scare you. Claire lingers. Every hallway feels wrong. Every choice feels final. And the atmosphere presses it in like it wants something from you. This is horror built on dread, sorrow, and restraint. The kind that doesn't rely on jump scares because it doesn't need them. Claire wasn't just one of the best horror games of 2025. It was the most haunting. So Claire is a sequel to a game called Ethel. I played Ethel last year also, I believe, and it was very scary. I was terrified to move forward at points. So Ethel is the prequel and Claire is the sequel. They're both very good games. They are made by TSG Games or Tony Shoulders. I talk to him sometimes on Twitter, and I've played both of his games, and actually while I was playing Ethel, he came into my chat and talked to me for a little while, and it was kind of interesting and just really nice to see that kind of thing. He's an indie dev and only has 2 games out. One more will be coming out soon called The Butler that I'm also very excited about. The only thing I will say that I was not a fan of with Claire was that it went from being you were defenseless, and you had to do things and you had things jump scaring you and the atmosphere was really spooky, but then they added chases. And I'm not a giant fan of things chasing me in general, but in horror games I just feel like when you go from being that like you can see the monster but it doesn't chase you, it doesn't necessarily bother you, and you can't die, to then introducing chase scenes where you have to get away or you do die, just feels less horror-like to me. To me personally, I know that chases scare a lot of people, and that's why a lot of games have horror chase sequences in them. I understand that. I'm not saying that any horror game should stop doing that. I just feel like the way that the game was, it shifted the whole second half of the game after that was introduced. But otherwise, very, very good game. Loved it. I, again, wouldn't necessarily say it was my number 1. These were in no particular order, just my top 10 that I kind of thought of off the top of my head. And I really hope that you go check out them all. I will have them linked in the description down below so you can go check them all out. Okay, so for the final part of my top 10 games, I would like to rank them so you guys know kind of what my top 1 is and what my 10th one is. So we've got all of the games here. So first off, we're going to go with Claire. And that one I'm going to stick in scary because it wasn't like terrifying, but it was terrifying in parts until they added the chase, as I explained earlier. Indigo Park, not scary, but very, very good story in my opinion. I really, really like this game, and I think that Indigo Park is definitely my number 1 out of all of these, but more for story and not for scare factor. Cabin Factory, I'm gonna put in scary AF because yeah, it was creepy. Palmyra Orphanage we're also going to put under scary. It was very scary. It scared me many times. The Demon Within Me goes in scary AF. Killer Frequency was not scary, but story. Luto was scary AF, but also like story. Story was good. The Demons Told Me to Make This Game was not scary, but good. Little Nightmares 3 was not scary, but story. And Terabytes is 100% not scary, but good. So if I had to rank these from like 1 being the best game of my game of the year to I still really loved it, I would say that I would do Luto number 1, Indigo Park number 2, Demon Within Me number 3, Claire number 4, Little Nightmares 3 is 5, Palmyra Orphanage is 6, Killer Frequency 7, Terabytes 8, The Demons Told Me to Make This Game 9, and The Cabin Factory as 10. These were the horror games of 2025 that refused to be forgotten. Tell me, which one stayed with you the longest? Which one are you still thinking about when the screen goes dark?